Hey everybody, I'm Anxiety Offline, and today I want to talk about the Flatface G16. This is a deck recently released by Flatface, aka Mike Schneider. I got my hands on one, or two actually, and I really like this deck a lot, so I want to talk about it, the pros, the cons, and all that. It's a really interesting deck. I think it's a little bit different from everything we've seen before, so I want to talk about it kind of just in a casual setting and let you know kind of what I think about it. So without further ado, let's get started, but not without a word from our sponsor. Hey everybody, this is Anxiety Offline breaking in here again. I am actually your sponsor today. Don't forget, I have a website, www.anxietyOffline.com. So check that out. If you want some really cool custom artwork, concrete obstacles, definitely hit me up. Or if you just need some fresh bushings for your setup, I have them available in a wide variety of colors. So check me out, anxietyOffline.com. Let's get back to the video. Alright, so y'all already know I love the G15. This is a deck that I picked up when I first got into fingerboarding, like I guess 2 years ago now, and I've really never put it down since. Out of all the decks I have, I think this one's probably the most thrashed. You can't really tell because it never had a graphic on it, but it's definitely gotten the most use. The trucks are pretty beat up. The wheels, it's gone through several kinds of wheels on here. I've changed the grip about 3 times, I think, in that 2-year period. But it still just functions so amazingly well. I never want to put this one down. This is one I always come back to. It's just so solid feeling, and I'm just gotten really used to it. So when I heard Flatface was releasing the G16, I was really excited because I really feel like Mike Schneider does have a really good handle or good feel on what a good fingerboard should feel like. So I was excited when he announced the G16 because I really wanted to get my hands on one and kind of see what the future or with kind of what he was skating at the time. I know he's been using these for the past year or so. I missed the first couple drops, but I ended up getting one for Christmas, which is this one right here. I was really excited to try it. So I will say, in comparison to the G15, it has higher kicks, but about the same concave. It's also a little bit shorter than the G15. You probably can't even tell on camera, but the wheelbase is about the same. So it has a lot of similarities to the G15. I think the biggest one, though, is just going to be the kick height. The kicks are higher. So one thing I really want to mention is I got my hands on 2 of them. So I got this one for my birthday, and then I saw that they're releasing the Boards of Canada one a couple days later, like around Christmas or so. So I got this one, too, because I love this album a lot, and it's just such a cool collab little graphic. I had to have it. So one thing I noticed, though, is these decks do feel a little bit different, I will say. Long story short, I ended up reaching out about this one that I got for my birthday or Christmas because, hold up, let me get that timeline right. I got this one for Christmas. They released this one, or I got this one around New Year's. So a couple days later, I got this one as I saw it released, and yeah, that's kind of how the timeline went. But either way, it doesn't really matter. I got this one first, and I got really used to it. And I reached out, though, to Flatface because the nose has a little bit of like a funky shave thing going on. So they reached back out. I said, really sorry about that. So they gave me like $15 back. So that'd be the price of like a Blem deck that we pretty much paid for this one. So I was like, okay, cool, that works out. So I got this one. I was like super happy to have 2 of them, but I noticed that they do feel a little bit different. So it does feel like the Boards of Canada one is slightly thicker, and it does feel like the kicks are a little bit higher or slightly more defined, and maybe even a little less concave. Whereas this one, the one without a graphic, feels a lot more like the G15, just with, higher kicks, a little bit shorter. That's really about it. This one, though, does feel noticeably different. It has thicker plies, higher kicks. The wheelbase is all the same and everything. Actually, the wheelbase is somehow a little bit longer. Not by much. I mean, like a 0.5 millimeter on the Boards of Canada one. But I'm just wondering kind of what is the story with that. I want to know if they're all different or if there's 2 molds. Or I think what's most probable is that this one might be a prototype, somehow from a prototype mold or from a prototype something, I don't really know. And I'm guessing that this one is kind of more accurate to how they all are. I'm not really sure, though. They both feel super good. I think the one with the thinner plies might feel a little bit better. I don't really know. I'd skate this one probably more, though. One weird thing I noticed, the packaging for this one said it was a 7-ply, but if you look at it, it's clearly not. The plies are a little bit interesting looking. I'll try to do a macro shot because there's a white ply in the middle, and it looks like it like bleeds over into the other plies. I don't really know how. It must be like splinters of wood that just kind of got lacquered over or something. I don't really know. Like, there's nothing like physically wrong with it. It just looks very interesting. I've never seen a middle ply that almost seems to bleed into the others like that. But it clearly is 5. There's blue on top, blue on bottom, and there's 2 black ones in the between that, and then a white one in the very middle. So yeah, and then that also could be because of the veneer. This one does have slightly thicker veneer. That could be because of availability. It could be just because of whatever. I'm not sure. Maybe that made this deck feel a little bit steeper than this one. That could be. I'm not sure if that's even possible. So deck makers, please chime in below in the comments. But that's one thing I noticed about these. Having 2 of them in hand is that they do feel and they look a little bit different. Now, even though they're a little bit different, these decks have a ton in common. They are definitely the same deck. At least I hope they are. So even though they're different, even though they do feel and look a little bit different, they do have a ton in common. So let's talk about the pros. I will say the G16, whatever is going on with these things have explosive pop. It's really crazy. You don't have to think anymore about getting the board off the ground. You can just kind of do it. I think you can focus more about your actual trick and less about getting the board off the ground. So I feel like I just do tricks way easier on these. I can land them way quicker, I feel like. Tricks just kind of come to me. If I want to do something, and I do a lot higher tricks on these as well. You probably saw in a recent short video of mine, I did like a kickflip nose blunt onto like a really tall computer stand. Not really tall, it was about, 6-7 inches or so, but still pretty tall than what I normally sesh. And I got right up on there, locked into it, and popped out and everything, and it felt really good. So the fact that the kicks are higher, I think gives you that advantage, that you can do tricks much higher, you can get up on obstacles much easier, and if you want to try new tricks or things like that, it's definitely a good deck to do so, because I feel like you can just get way up in the air even just with little effort. Ollies and kickflips, and even switch and nollie tricks just feel super easy on this thing almost. I was almost doing nollie flips at first easier than like kickflips, but kickflips just feel like a dream on both of these. For some reason, tray flips take a little bit of getting used to, at least for me personally, because the kicks were so high, but I ended up getting some and then catching them and everything like that. A lot of good things to say about these decks. So are they the future of fingerboarding, or are they a little bit avant-garde, a little bit weird? I don't really know. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to kind of see what people think. It seems like fingerboarding goes a little bit in trends as far as what people like, what people skate. It seems like mellow deck's really in for a while. Maybe that's kind of, maybe we're going in like a different direction now. I don't really know. Time will tell. I like these a lot so far though, so I'm going to keep skating mine, and I'm curious to see if other brands will kind of delve into the more higher kick, deeper concave area, because I don't know, it seems like a lot of brands really are focusing on mellow shapes, low kicks, realism and all that, and I love realism in fingerboarding more than anything. I want all my tricks to look and feel realistic, but at the same time I want to have fun and be able to do tricks that you would do, on a fingerboard. I don't know, it's fun doing a trick off the ground onto a dresser stand or onto a table leg or whatever. So it's nice not having to think about, oh man, I gotta get this, how am I gonna get this board off the ground at this awkward angle. You can really just kind of do it and focus more on the trick with these decks versus getting it off the ground, because those kicks are so high. So it's one big advantage there. I'm curious to hear what people think. If you have one in hand, if you skated one, please write below in the comments what your experience has been, what you think of yours so far, because I definitely want to know. And I'm curious to get to some events too, where people get these and see, what they feel like, compared to these two as well. I was gonna reach back out to Flatface and kind of ask that question, but I had just reached out to them about this deck, and they were so nice to do that $15 refund. I didn't really want to bother them again, so I just kind of left it as is. Because this one, there's nothing wrong with it. It skates super well. It just feels different, but not in a bad way. I don't know. Somebody probably saw that was like super high, caught it. Like, I don't know. This thing's like magic, honestly. But let me know, would you skate this deck? What do you think of high kicks, mellow concave? Would you skate that? And that's really about it. So if you got any questions, please drop them below. Don't forget, check out anxietyoffline.com, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.
So she's having trouble and you just keep throwing it back.